Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane. Today, covering a new game. Total War is over. I think it ended up being a lot of time-consuming. Rather think I'd try something else. You know, something I'm actually also playing at a lot at the moment besides Company News. That is Shadowverse, a Japanese card game akin to Hearthstone, if you know that one. Basically, sort of play cards every turn. It's turn-based. You fight it out and try to destroy the other leader. The key here, for example, is the evolved mechanic, though you'll get to see the one a bit more in action. But it's a card game, free to play, available freely on Steam. You might ask, well, how free to play is it? Well, basically they throw a bunch of card packs at you. Generally about 30 to 40 card packs when you join, and there'll generally be sort of more card packs down the road. There's things you can do daily for rupees, but also they just give you card packs, achievements, which can give you more gold, but also card packs, and you further sort of can go ranking, gain score, which can then earn you more card packs, but also things like tickets to the arena, which for those who don't know is sort of more of a freestyle thing, or basically sort of choose a bunch of random cards, put together a deck, and then fight with people who have also random decks. Usually then the key is sort of put together a better random deck than the other fellow. And you can then usually sort of gain free cards for that, which generally means even, you know, tickets for that, even if you just completely fail at it, you still get a free card pack. So overall, the game is in that department very much free to play and, well, very generous. I've already amassed a huge collection since it was released on Steam, absolutely massive. And as you might notice, the art style is a bit peculiar. That's the Japanese anime art style, if you will. It's going to be a turn off for some. For me, yeah, some of it's pretty egregious when it comes to the ladies. They sure do love their not very frightfully clothed ladies, but you know, it's all more fun. I mean, I've played other card games like Hearthstone, Elder Scrolls Legends. I tried Gwent. None of them really appeal to me for different reasons, usually awkward in the game design. Overall, you've got, well, 7 classes, and again, I'm sort of just briefly introducing things here. Probably should start out just sort of for those who don't know the game, and of course just might be curious themselves. That way, you know, this can be sort of a quick introduction here. You got 7 classes, which for some reason will all be given the bit craft on the end. One of life's mysteries. We don't need to know why they decided it had to be craft. You got forest, sword, rune, dragon, shadow, blood, and havencraft. Basically, the 7 classes there, sort of each with their own sort of room to sort of work in. Forest is sort of more the have a lot of cards in the hand. Fairies, elves, woodland creatures. Try to build up big hands, sort of make combos with their cards, usually to gain bigger effects. They're usually in that sense the combo class. Usually they'll have a lot of sort of abilities to quickly, you know, do a lot of damage, and just sort of slowly but make big bursts on the board. For example, you know, suddenly playing out a big follower, they can do a lot there. They can sort of make a lot of tricks, you know, gaining more cards, bouncing cards back and forth from the board and into the hand. So in that regard, they're sort of tricky in that department. They're certainly one of the more versatile classes, and certainly also one of the more popular classes as it used to be. Currently, it's another class that is rather dominating. Swordcraft can also be called boardcraft, not board, but as in the board, the play board. But basically sort of much about, you know, tokens, having actual board control. Not so much a combo class at all, but very much a tempo sort of on board class. They don't have so much removal either, but they can sort of, you know, have a lot of effects with the followers. They can sort of bounce off each other. There's sort of 2 types, officers and commanders, which sort of interact with each other, and that way you can sort of make effects. That way they can also make some kind of bounces on the boards in terms of power, you know. Some, you know, for example, if you play enough followers down, you can maybe next turn play a really big one because it becomes cheaper for every follower you have on the board. So in that way, it's sort of more the board-centric class. You got Runecraft, which can work in both ways. They can sort of very much focus on the hand, thus becoming a combo class, but they can also sort of focus on certain things called amulets, which is sort of not followers, but they're not quite spells either. They're sort of things you play on the board, they have an effect, and these can usually then serve as resources for some spell or follow, which can then give them a great effect when those two are combined. That means that if you try to go down that way, it can sort of clog your hand. Currently, very popular class, dominantly so in fact, worryingly so. Hopefully the developer side games will soon nerf it sufficiently, since it's getting rather worrying its power levels. They basically, with the last expansion, pushed an deck type way too hard, and it's unsurprisingly backfiring on them right now, so hopefully they'll sort that one soon. You got Dragoncraft, which is sort of the really big followers class, all about dragons. really big dragons, and even bigger dragons. They also have the ability to sort of ramp up, that is, they can gain more play points or mana ahead of their opponents, so that way can sort of quickly try and ramp up, as is known, and then play out the big followers before the other opponents can sort of reasonably react to it. They also have, well, other abilities like, can discard cards, can gain synergies from discarding cards, sort of combo-ish, but that's generally not how people play them. And, well, they also have some effects with wounded creatures, usually killing your wounded things, but that's not much of a synergy at the moment. Then you have Shadow, death-oriented, skeletons, zombies, all the dead things. Usually about either using shadows, which is what you get when something dies, you cast a spell, sort of use them back, sort of recycle into bigger followers, more followers, or just sort of more potent spells, but also just things with last words, which is, if you know, Hearthstone death rattle, basically when something dies it resummons it or does something else like killing something else or summoning a really big follower, but just resummoning the big follower himself. So in that regard they can sort of be sticky, then others can also make some slight bursts, but it can sort of vary then how popular it is. I mean, it's reasonably popular right now thanks to one card which can sort of summon a lot of cards from the deck, kills it, and then in case we've got some good last words it can sort of give you a boost on the board. So they're sort of rather handy. You got Bloodcraft, which is also one of the most popular. It is very board-centric as well. It can do some combos, but currently sort of like the big two are basically sort of an aggro variant, which is really, really popular and really, really good, with lots of bats and other nasty things. A bit too many synergies perhaps there as well, but nothing quite like the Runecraft one. But basically they're all about, health. They can sort of sacrifice their own health to sort of play out follows that are more aggressively or slightly overstated compared to others. They have effects then when they sort of hit a threshold where Vengeance gets activated, though no one really seems to use it because a lot of traits sort of get worked properly. The only one that sort of makes use of it is Control variant, sort of Control Blood, which can be really nasty if you can't bring it down quickly enough. So there is one there as well. But sort of recently popular, has some, abilities, but right now it's very much focused sort of two archetypes, Blood Control and Blood Aggro. They can also sort of have some board control bits there, similar to Swordcraft, by the way, through bats. They can sort of have some of the effects there, some more aggressive as well. They can be quite tiresome. And then finally we have Haven, which is sort of all about the clerics, healers, priests, and holy beasts. That one, by the way, is about vampires and demons, Bloodcraft. And, they basically all about the amulets again, but they sort of have countdowns and then summon really big followers. So play down a cheap amulet, say on turn 1, and then sort of a few turns later you sort of get a bigger creature out than so others would be. They also then have amulet or spells that can lower countdowns, they can also heal themselves. So they can be quite nasty. They also have the only sort of alternate win condition card so far, Seraph, which can basically win them the game if it sort of counts down sufficiently. So they sort of tend to currently just play into Control. Again, this one's dominance is rather killed this one's mid-range deck. It's still reasonably good, it's just not quite as good. And again, this one just sort of tends to dominate. So that sort of covers the 7 classes here. Overall, I personally play, Sword because, I like knights, I like swords, I like stabbing people with swords. So I play Swordcraft a lot. I like the whole idea of huge armies and sort of sneaking out some bigger followers to support those. So that one is rather I'm playing with. I'd rather have my own deck though, not the usual ones. Currently, by the way, it's largely either aggro, which is sort of the aggressive, or you sort of get a control variant of Swordcraft. I sort of try and play for something a bit more in between. More slanted towards the aggressive, but not quite aggressive either. And I'll show you the deck here. I call it the Tempo Token. It is very much oriented about getting as many followers out on the board as quickly as possible, pushing as aggressively as possible, and then using different cards that way augment my large followers. Like, for example, here against aggressive decks, I use Navy Lieutenant to slow it down and sort of give them more time. Otherwise, I can buff them to more aggressive, and then I use Enraged General, for example, who gets cheaper for every follower on the board, so sort of play them out and that way gain a big tempo swing. In particular, if you can play him turn 4, he is really, really good. The very, very few classes have the ability to immediately deal with them. But also you got other things like this one as well, you can sort of act on it as well for different effects. So that's sort of rather covers my deck here. And sort of, as for the format for this series, I'm sort of thinking, again, sort of part here talking about some subject, and then sort of a few videos of me sort of playing the game, actually, some matches there. I'll probably primarily playing tempo tokens sort of again because, well, I'm trying to head towards Masters, and, you know, rather thinking sort of take this deck type, which I'm pretty sure I'm largely the only one playing, to Masters. You know, that would be a sort of good highlight to show, hey, I know how to build decks. And that one's pretty good, at least decent, so, you know, I figure that'd be some half-decent advertisement for myself as well. So, that one is rather my pet project. There'll probably be some alterations for it as we sort of go forwards and sort of adjust it as things change. In particular, if the Runecraft deck there, the Tempo Runecraft as is known, gets nerfed, you know, there might be some changes there, so in which case I'll probably have to adjust as well. So, there we go. I'll be shifting out to a few battles there. Hopefully you'll enjoy those. And of course, if you know you like this format, blah, not sure how I managed to come up with that one. But you know, let me know in the comments if you'd like to see something different. You know, let me know if you just want to see me fight. You know, let me know as well. You know, I'm trying to adjust here. This is sort of a bit more new for me. You know, sort of covering this kind of game. But I figured I'd give it a try. So you know, there'll be a bit of experimentation. But you know, let me know in the comments. But off to the fighting. And here we are. We're up against Haven. Fighting ahead. And going second, that means I get to evolve first. Again, I'll choose sort of what's about. I'll probably pop that one away and wholesale swing. Don't think it will be necessary. So I'll pop that one away as well. Hope to get some better drops there. Sort of looks alright there. Looks alright. We'll of course see what type it is, but it's likely going to be some kind of control variant. I mean, the aggressive variant is... well, I don't see it very often, but there you go, sort of got a decent hand. I didn't get any 1-drops, I got about 6 in about a deck out of 40, which by the way it is. You can get 3 of every card, including the legendary class. Yeah, that is very much the controlling variant there, heal. I mean, there's 2 variants that sort of run this one. There's also one that basically runs a card that for every time the leader is healed, there's that one, it gets a buff. That one's really nasty, by the way. Hopefully it's not that one. We'll see how that goes. Oh, it is! Oh, lucky me. Oh, bother. This is going to be terribly exciting then. This is where, you know, actually having a 1 better starting hand would have been great. Oh well, no problem here. It also means I have to be very cautious about turn 6, since that's where they can play a really powerful board clear, Temer's Decree. Now this keeps getting better and better, and there you go. Thankfully, no followers. That one draws a card as well. That's also what makes this deck at times rather painful. So we'll put this one out. This is a, as you can see there, pull that one up, evolve. And this is what we call a tempo evolve. It's usually a card that has an effect besides just gaining stats. It's usually what they do. Usually it's just 2+2, but this one only gains 1+1. But in this case, actually summons other followers. It's a reasonably strong one, but with the current meta has sort of fallen off a bit, but it's still quite handy in this deck. And now that one gets to evolve. Sledgehammer Exorcist has rather grown in popularity. Not as strong himself, but in fact doesn't get any stats, but it can completely kill a follower. Very nasty. Very nasty. We'll probably trade with that one. We kind of got to deal with them because otherwise they'll just sort of grow out of control, which is what you call pretty bad. So, gotta deal with that, which also means I'll likely get hit with Temer's Decree afterwards, but either way I don't really stand much of a choice. My only advantage at the moment is he has not been able to draw a lot of cards. He's not been able to draw a lot of cards. Which means resource-wise he's going to be a bit weak there. But we'll see. We shall see. If he doesn't have it though, I'm slightly well off. Unless he has another Sledgehammer Exorcist. Or a priest of the cudgel, which is sort of the same, just tougher, but can only sort of deal with followers. Ah, really? That's bad luck. Really bad luck. And another Ilana's prayer. Oh. I think I'll use that one there. I think I'll try and save my wall point if I can play him on turn 9. Where he gets the enhanced mechanic that basically allows him to attack twice per turn. That's pretty handy. That can make him do 10 damage. Right, seems like he still doesn't have Temer's Decree. Oh, he has that one. Which, as you might quickly notice, buffs it twice. Now, thanks to those two. We'll have to be forced to use that one to evolve and then sort of buff the rest of the board. But at the same time, he does seem to be running a bit out of resources, so... So I'm not too poorly off, but I could be better off as well. We'll see. We shall see. But he's basically... There we go, he's trying to get some card draw off. Got he 8, actually. Yeah, I had pretty much lethal. So there we go. I won in the end. I got really lucky with this one, though. I got really lucky. I mean, he had no card draw. And even with those there, he couldn't get what he wanted. He could just not get what he wanted, which was a board clear in the form of Temer's Decree. So that was actually kind of lucky for me this time around. Usually when I play against these, they usually have like 2. So getting absolutely none there is pretty lucky there, actually. Right then, next match. Bloodcraft. Oh dear. And I go second. Generally, normally most people want to go second, by the way. Most people want to go second. But against Bloodcraft, you actually want to go first. You really, really want to go first. I cannot describe how much you want to go first, because if this is aggro, I'm in a lot of trouble. Well, I'm also in a lot of trouble if this is control. I'm also in a lot of, in fact, I'm in a lot of trouble generally, no matter what, with this type of deck, because I can't really wear out control blood. Oh no, this is control blood. Well, that's bad. That's really bad. I might get lucky. I might get lucky, but this is definitely not one of the better matchups for my deck. I think I'll pop these two here. Deal with that one. Push face and just draw a card. That might help me down the road. But yeah, that one there, the unicorn down to the true 2 there, basically heals every turn. And most blood do not want to heal unless they're actually planning on lasting the game, and that generally means control. So now this is where things get tricky. If I get them below 10, they usually get a lot of effect, so I don't want to get them down below 10 in most cases. I want to sort of get them close to it, but not there. I can do 2 here. If I sort of pop that one down, I can sort of push that up to like 5. That pushes them down to 11, but we don't actually want them near 11 either. Actually, no, I won't be putting them down to 11. I'll be putting them down to 12, which is rather what I want. So I'll pop that one here. Then we'll see what it actually does. But I'm rather worried, even with all of these evolution points, because it's tried to push down. But the problem is they can play some pretty nasty follows and quickly turn things around there once Vengeance is hit. And there you go. Heals themselves up. 14. What can we do then? I can do again 4 there, so I can put down to 10. I could pop that one down, so I could put them down to 5. They could then board clear and maybe play down something that wouldn't be able to turn it around. I mean, it would be really, really aggressive. You could also play something that could heal them, but they wouldn't actually be able to heal themselves up with it. Well, might as well go all in with this. Might as well go all in with this. It's pretty risky, but in a sort of drawn out engagement versus these, I will generally lose, so if actually a chance to push them far enough down there, might have a chance. There you go. Revelation normally costs 8, but as you might notice, at a lower cost, much more impressive. So, yeah, this is where things get tricky. And I obviously put myself in a bad spot, but just one of those cases where I don't have much of an option. At least with this I can prevent my opponent from playing a card that allows them to... Interesting. I normally don't see that one. That was actually a mistake. Wow. That one does damage to themselves. Wow. Wow. I mean, it becomes stronger as you do so, but I guess they just didn't have any option. Just figured they give it to me, but that was a surprise. That's a first. We're back here, this time with more Bloodcraft. I get to go second again. And I'm the lucky one. I'll again try and look for something a bit early here. I mean, you do not want to wait versus Blood. You just don't want to hang back there. You'll regret it if you... Again, if it's aggro, you just want on the board and you want them fast. Yep, that's aggro. That's a nasty one there. Basically does 1 damage to themselves, but also to their opponents. Very nasty one. I just hope he doesn't play Urias. Otherwise I'm in a deep amount of trouble already. Very powerful card. Well, if he plays Bloodwolf, great. That one also works. That one also works. Now here's the thing. I can try and be greedy. Play down Fervent Soldier. Hope he does not play down another card next turn. That combos really well with that one. Basically a card called Vate, which is a ward, and whenever attacked, drops a forest bat. And the thing is, this one, whenever you get a forest bat, does damage to you. So that's a tricky one. I mean, I can play out these two, kill that one, sort of push face, or I could play down that one, hope for a good next turn. That's the tricky bit. Which one do I hope for? Which one do I hope for? That's really the problem there, because I could get a card that could count him, no problems, but if I don't, a lot of problems, plus they'll do 3 damage, so I think I'll do this one. Rather expensive in cards, but pretty much kills that one and any combo ability, plus saves me from 2 damage, which I really do not want to take. So, doesn't have actually a card for this. Or is he just sort of wondering what to do? Oh, he has another one. He has another one. Well, that's nice. And there we go, we got Wholesale Swing. I could pop that one right now, but I think I'll go for this one and hope I draw the last quick blade I have there. I did not. In that case. It's mostly because otherwise I can always just play this one the next turn, clear out anything else, and then hit with Fervent Soldier as well. So rather figure that'd be a slightly more economical turn. Whereas if I played that one on the previous turn, I wouldn't be able to do all this. Oh, there we go. Combo. And of course go straight for my face or my leader. Does not care about board control. Now we pop this one, which when there's actually more of them than I have on the board, produces this little chap. I play out this one and evolve that one, which for some reason then drops a lot of its armor. For reasons that are quite beyond me. Look, madam, are you sure you would not like to keep your breastplate rather than just your breasts? But yeah, actually Japanese there. Interesting, he was actually willing to sacrifice a turn for that. So what we do here is we play this fellow and that one. And I guess we evolve this fellow and sort of try and push him down in damage. Try and get him closer to death and have to concern himself with my board more. Actually, I might have made a mistake here. He might have something called Demonic Storm which can clear my entire board. I just made a mistake, didn't I? Yes, I did. Of course, he did more damage to himself, but that was what you call a mistake. On the other hand, I actually have lethal now, unless he has another Demonic Storm. But he could he kill me? Yes, he could. Yes, he could. There we go. Had I done enough damage, they wouldn't have been able to do that. So that was actually a mistake there. That was a misplay from me. I should have damaged, then brought him down low. I had not considered that potential. So, yeah, that was a misplay. And I lost there. But there you go. There you go. That's the problem with the Bloodcraft. They have a lot of ways of quickly killing you. You just sort of have to keep in mind all the ways they can kill you if they're aggro. That's really the tricky part. They really have a lot of ways to kill. They also, therefore, the second most played deck at the moment. You can usually deal with them better, in fact, if you go first. That's actually the one only deck here that so far really sort of has a big advantage going first. Because you have to react to them, and they can sort of usually get most of the damage in before that. So, if they suddenly have to react to you, usually they lose a lot of their advantage. So there you go. A learning experience for everybody. And I think also will be the first, sort of last match here, though, but sort of a quick highlight here, sort of on my deck, what it can do. Sadly, I wasn't able to really get anything going really with the Enraged General. That's sort of really where the fun comes in, but, you know, can't have everything. But again, sort of, you know, aims for massive board control, striking for the face, dealing with everything else if necessary, sort of just trying to use other cards to sort of build board control to sort of, you know, make really big tempo swings. So hopefully this got you sort of... Oh yeah, you also get daily bonuses. Might as well show this one. Usually once per day. Sort of get some cards thrown at you. Or gold, card packs, and more arena tickets. So again, very generous game in terms of sort of free to play. But there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. You know, got some ideas. You know, if you like the game or replay it, you know, that's great. But I hope you enjoyed, you know, let me know in the comments if you didn't, but if you think of improvement, let me know. And as you know, just provide feedback in the comments. I'll try my best there. But again, overall, I do hope you enjoyed it, had some fun. If you didn't, subscribe, like, share, and comment on it. This is Imperial Dane signing off for another time, hopefully 2 days' time. And if, you know, this keeps up, who knows if it gets really popular, I might do it on a daily basis. But this is Imperial Dane signing off for now. Cheers.